You know, it's always exciting when you get to bring home the bacon, but occasionally you got to do the boring stuff, like the laundry and take out the trash. Hello, everyone. Bront, CatHerder here. We're having some fun talking Raid Shadow Legends, and you know what is not trash? My link down below. Get yourself Elenaril, Uugo, Tagoar, Mausoleum Mage. Get yourself Ezio as a free login champion, and use the code KittyCut for the Cheshire Cat, or maybe Tuhanarok. Get the Desert Queen there using code Desert Queen. She's an amazing legendary as well. Get an amazing start to Raid today. Going up, just have to sign up with a brand new account. Brand new install of Raid on your PC, and you are all set and you have a great account to start up within Raid. But we're here on my free-to-play. Honestly, we're going to be pulling some shards in this video as well, because there is an event going on, and I pulled some shards and I've decided I'm going to pull a little bit more. But first, I kind of wanted to talk a little bit about doing some of the general maintenance on the account. And I was going through and I was looking for champions I was going to train on this account, and what I wanted to do over the weekend, just kind of get things prepped and ready to go, and realized, you know, we always make these videos about, ooh, here's the sexy new legendary champion you get, or hey, here is this amazing thing you can do to increase your account power. But you know what? There's a lot of little things that you do in the background that are just kind of there, and there's things that maintain and bring your account into focus. And if you focus on only doing the things that are absolutely amazing, then what happens is you struggle to get to those moments, because everything else in between is what props up your ability to get to those amazing moments. So we're going to talk a little bit about the less sexy part of champion training, a little bit of a few other things that you do in your downtime when you're dealing with an account, and then we will pull some shards. So let's get to it. So what kind of laundry are we talking about in this account? Well, here I'm looking at my epics for the most part. And these are the ones that are in my active account right now. So these are not the ones that are actually like in the vault or anything like that. But you know, there's certainly some epics in the vault that I've been using as well. But we take a look at some of these champions that have actually been really good. Like we got Zargala right here, who I've been using quite a bit. She's actually been super helpful in a lot of the content in Curse City. She definitely got me through the Orc Faction Wars. And honestly, I need to 6-star at some point, because she is that good that long term, she is going to make this account better, being a 6-star, both in the things that I can unlock right now and the fact that I'll be able to lean on her for a long time to come. And by the time she becomes so irrelevant that I'll never be using her at all, which honestly, given things like Curse City might force you to use epics, is going to be almost never. You know what? My account will have grown so much, but it will grown because I had the ability to clear other content with some of these champions. Another example here is Painkeeper. Painkeeper, I finally decided to 6-star. In fact, you know, I've had her kind of built for a while. This build is nothing special. I don't even know if I've got to redo this build or not at some point. But this build, honestly, once I get it built up and ready to go, she'll probably actually slot into my clan boss team instead of Kale, because I think she will bring some of the additional healing, plus that extra skill reset that she brings will be enough to make it just a little more reliable as a 1-key Ultra Nightmare. Every once in a while with Kale, I lose out on a 1-key Ultra Nightmare team. I think Painkeeper will do a better job of that, but also Painkeeper is going to be useful in so many other areas of the game, because I can use her in, you know, say Iron Twins for some of the Iron Twins teams and shenanigans if I need to. I do have another one I need to build out as well, but you got to start off with the first one before you can really kind of work on the second one. So I needed to get a rare on my account 6-starred. So I 6-starred her. And that's kind of what I'm looking for right now. I am really low on legendary books. I have a ton of legendaries I would like to build, but I have a bunch of epics that are really good, that are doing some good work, that probably could be 6 stars and still help the account. You know, Lightward Sendria might be good because she is fully booked, but also I have a Supreme Elhain that's probably going to get 6-starred before she would, because Supreme Elhain unbooked is still going to do more damage, most likely, than Lightward. Thylesia, very, very good champion, super, super squishy, but if I gave her an extra 4,000 base HP, which would what making her a 6-star would do, well, suddenly she's not squishy anymore, at least not as squishy as she currently is. That'll mean I can actually use her in some more content, or possibly even build her out for a little bit more damage. Ursula? Well, Ursula's fine, but a tanky reviver is a lot tankier when you get that extra 50% defense and HP. So stuff like that can be very helpful. Heck, Fellhound, the farming puppy, I just finished booking him because for some reason I hadn't booked him in a while. Getting him to 6 stars would be helpful. I can actually use him as a campaign farmer if I want to speed things up just a little bit. I don't mind Alice as a campaign farmer, but it's certainly nice to be able to do things super fast with a Fellhound and shave a few seconds off of it here or there. And it doesn't take me like he needs tons of gear. Honestly, this gear is probably fine for the campaign farming that I would want to do with him anyway. And not a big deal. Champions like this, or even Meat Carver. Meat Carver is a very good support for the Skinwalkers, and I'm struggling to get into Skinwalker's hard dungeons. Well, maybe 6-starring him would give me some of the extra speed I need, some of the extra stats I need to make sure that he is at least alive, to make sure everyone else stays alive as well. And then Rian the Conjurer, somebody I've wanted to work on for a while. I had her 4-starred. I had her maxed out at 4 stars and just need to work on the 5 stars. I have been working on her masteries just a little bit as well. So we're getting some work done on her, but she's another champion that might actually help me move into hard faction wars for the Dark Elves, because I've been kind of struggling pushing further into that faction. So stuff like that can be very, very helpful. Don't always look at your legendaries to build out. Sometimes you've got some good epics sitting around, and yes, the epics may not be as good as some legendaries, but some of these epics can carry very, very well. I think actually a pretty good example of the epic versus legendary debate is I've got a Stock the Broken and I have a Eurogrim. And honestly, I often end up finding myself using Eurogrim just a little bit more than I do Stock the Broken. Now, Stock is technically better. Stock does a few other things that are kind of nice. They both have a very similar aura. They both have very similar skill sets. Stock ignites poisons, but Eurogrim puts them out a little bit better at the moment because he is booked and Stock isn't. So that doesn't mean the Stock's not bad. And honestly, I like using the two of them together because the two of them together give me tons of continuous healing and tons of poisons. It's actually a really cool, and then Stock ignites them and it's really kind of cool. But, yes, they're both 6 stars because honestly, making Stock the Broken a 6-star even without books made sense to me. And honestly, it's still been a good strategy because he's still very useful. But if I had to pick between the two of them to use in a lot of content, I actually find that Eurogrim tends to fit just a little bit better because Eurogrim at booked fits a little bit better into a support role, whereas Stock the Broken needs to be booked to fit a little bit more into that damage dealing role that he really does. And, I can actually see here, I've actually been trying to book him. I've kind of stopped for a little while because I've had somebody else I needed to book. But once I get back, Stock will probably end up getting booked, and then Stock will probably become a little more used than my Eurogrim. But they make a good pair regardless. And of the two I needed to invest in, I think Eurogrim was probably a better early investment than Stock, just because he was easier for me to book up, he was easier for me to build as an epic, and he does a really good job at what he does. Not that he's as good as Stock, but he does a really good job filling in for what I need, and for where I'm at in the game, Eurogrim's fine. One of the things that's always good to do during some of this downtime is work on some of these missions, and I've been stuck on some of these for a while. What you can't see is I had one that I just finished 3 or 4 of these missions yesterday, I think, because I finally got to stage 100 normal Doom Tower and got this one done. And that was blocking me from continuing on a little bit further. Now, this is waiting for me to get Force Dungeons open, so that's going to be like Monday or Tuesday. Craft 10 accuracies using the attack charms, that's going to be easy. Craft 25 rank 5 or higher artifacts at the forge, that's literally going to be easy. Points and events going to slow me down just a little bit. Hopefully I can get to this beat Doom Tower boss 110 floor on normal before this rotation ends. Otherwise, we're probably going to be stuck here again for almost a full rotation while I wait to get through on normal, especially because the next one is the Dark Fae, so there is no question I'm going to be going down the hard route before I go down the normal route. More forges here, but we're getting close to where I'm done with this, or getting done with most of these things. The Doom Tower 120 is going to be another kind of blocker, and the rest of this stuff is mostly pretty easy. But these are things I can check off towards getting Ramontu, and this is also free bonus resources that I'm kind of missing out on if I'm not focusing on these just a little bit. Now, I'm not saying I need to hardcore focus on these things to get them as fast as possible, because there's some natural breaks that are going to happen anyway. But it's definitely nice to look for these things and make sure I can get them done whenever possible. So I'm definitely keeping track of which keep is open, and when it's forced keep, this is going to get done. Marius missions is another one, and right now I'm on this attain 4 mythical chest plates, and these ones suck. These are so hard because at best you have a 5% chance of getting a mythical piece, and then you have a 1 in 6 chance of getting a chest piece. So you have less than 1% per run of getting this. So you're on average talking about doing over 400 runs just to get those 4 chest pieces. And that's of dungeons if you're farming stage 10, which I'm not farming stage 10 on all of them. It means if I'm not farming stage 26 or higher on the event dungeon, I'm not getting those from the event dungeon, which I'm not, so that's a problem. It also means that if I'm farming Spider's doing absolutely nothing for this as well, which is definitely frustrating as well. So definitely needs to get done, and it's definitely something I'm considering. In fact, it's one of the reasons I have thought about running Dragon in place of other things when Dragon is not a speed event, for example. So, you know, it is what it is, though. I've gotten a little bit further in Fire Knight, and that's been great, but this is certainly a bit of a blocker. But we are so close to these 2 legendary books, it'd be absolutely amazing. And the rest of the stuff, not too terrible. Clear 20 stages in Cursed City on hard, that'll get done in 2 days. I've been able to do that for a long, long time. Awaken a champion to level 4. I'm specifically been saving my Alien Awakening for this particular event, which is one of the things I recommend. If you have a daily login champion you don't need to build right away, save them for some of these Marius missions. Now, that's going to depend on how powerful they are. So like a Lemonisi, for example, is somebody I could have saved for something like this. Skeletor was actually a good example of a champion that would have been really good to have saved for this. And I say Alien's a good one for me to have done in this. Not that Alien was bad. Alien's a really good login champion. Alien just didn't impact this account as much as they might have impacted either really, really early game accounts or really, really late game accounts that were probably already past this ability anyway, so didn't have to worry about holding off on that soul. One of the other things that is worth doing every once in a while is taking a look at your builds on your champions and revising them a little bit. Now, I'm here on my Sun Wukong, and my Sun Wukong probably for a lot of you looks decent. Well, I recently rebuilt him, as in actually this morning I rebuilt him. He used to have crit rate gloves. His crit damage used to be about 60 points lower. I added 60 points of crit damage to him. I also, I lost maybe 150 attack. Nothing particularly exciting, but I did lose a little bit of attack there. But gained a little bit of speed, gained a little bit of accuracy, gained a bunch of crit damage, and he should be a much more viable champion. I wasn't using him as often because I was finding he wasn't hitting as hard as I really would have liked. But now he's got a ton of crit damage. He's got a decent soul. Is he booked? I don't remember if I've finished booking him or not. I have not finished booking him, but I've got all the damage books done on all this stuff. So we're in good shape here. This is on the 3 turn. Certainly would like to get one more book in here at some point in time. Wouldn't hate on this stun to be a 50% here. So he's going to get those 3 books at some point in time, but he should be smacking really hard right now because I have finally put the effort in rebuilding him. Alice is one of the ones where I probably should work on rebuilding her at some point. I just haven't really had the focus to do so because for the most part, she does a good job at what she does. And I've got enough accuracy, got a good amount of speed and everything else. The big thing that would be good for her is honestly, the stuff I just put Sun Wukong in would probably be really solid on her as well. So that would be another option if I wanted to go that direction. But, you know, Sun Wukong is probably going to be a little bit better for the end game, and Alice is doing a good enough job for what I use her for right now. She still lives in my Fire Knight team, and until I drop her out of my Fire Knight team, she really, really does need to have this Cat's Gaze on her. Once I can get this Cat's Gaze off of her because she's no longer in my Fire Knight team, then we can start talking. So we're working on that. And once I can get that off of her, I can get that on some other champions that I know will impact the account really well. That said, Alice is also a key figure in my Dark Fae team. So I still may not be able to just get rid of her that easily, which means I may need to look at rebuilding her again too. And sometimes you just need to figure out which champions are you using, which champions are you not, and then put some of your best gear on your best champions that you're using. Because it's very easy to say, well, okay, I can't steal this piece here from Alice because, well, I need it on my Alice. I can't steal this piece from my Quintus because I use him in some areas. I can't steal from all these other champions. And, you know, in this case, I ended up stealing some stuff for Sanguine Maria. and then I had to rebuild Sanguine Maria. She certainly took a little bit of a downgrade when I rebuilt my Sun Wukong, but Sun Wukong is a champion I'm actively using all over the place. Sanguine Maria, I'm using sparingly. So sparingly, she can afford to either not have gear on regularly or have some of her gear, and then you just make some presets and you can move the gear around. But focusing your best gear on your best champions is one of those maintenance tasks it's really worth going through and doing every couple of months, or at least every 9 months or so on some champions, because yeah, sometimes you'll never be able to rebuild a champion to be a little bit better. I have champions that I built years ago on my main account that have never been rebuilt in any major way because I haven't been able to make them any better than I did 2-3 years ago, which is actually kind of scary, but it happens. If you build a champion really well, sometimes you just cannot rebuild them without taking everything apart and doing all kinds of other things to them. It just kind of fits. But if you're not in that case, and in this particular case, I'm a progressing account that is constantly making strides forwards, I need to re-examine my builds and take a look and see what I can do to keep on pushing the account forward. It's really easy to rest on a really good build and not look at it and say, I need to make this build better. Gear cleansing is one of the other things that we certainly need to look at. And that's something that I have, been focused on to an extent. Some of this is going to be pretty easy, honestly. I probably need to start trimming some of these rings down, so I probably don't need these rare rings anymore. I mean, this is not a bad rare ring, but I can get an epic ring here. This one's a better epic ring, and as long as it doesn't hit attack percentage, it's going to be as good, if not better than this one. And even then, it can hit attack percentage once and still be as good as this as a defense and HP ring, but also viable for somebody that might need a little bit of attack. So eventually, these rare rings are just not going to be particularly good. These rare amulets, not particularly good. So I can start trimming some of those things that I know are just not going to be great. And, I can certainly save some of the ones like this one I've rolled up and I've invested in. It's okay. Maybe I keep this one because it's already kind of rolled up a little bit. But these other ones that are unrolled, it's not worth the silver to invest in rolling in some of this stuff. I've got some 5-star banners on here I probably need to start trimming, because if it doesn't have speed, it certainly is trash. And if it does have speed, it still needs to be a good-ish banner that makes me think to use it over a 6-star. And for normal banners, that's probably going to be very hard. For stuff like, Chronophage, well, this could be kind of useful because I get some extra speed just for having this as well, so that's not too bad. This one, probably not particularly good. That can probably be sold. But again, going through some of this stuff and getting rid of some of these things that are not particularly great is going to give me all that extra silver that I need to do other events. It's going to give me silver to build more champions, and it's the maintenance stuff that you got to do. So you sit down for a couple of hours and you just start going through your gear, finding the stuff that's bad and selling it. And finally, and this is where these shard pulls are going to come in here, sometimes you just need to build up some chickens. So that means training some 3-star champions to be rank 30 so that you can make them 4 stars, so you can make them chickens for the 4 stars you have at level 40 to become 5 stars, so you have those 5-star chickens to make those 6-star champions that are so impactful on your account. And it's nice to have these chickens around. And that's one of the things that actually ancient shards are really good for. You're getting a bunch of rares, most of which you're not going to care about, that can be chickens for you. So I'm going to go hard in this champion training. I've actually already gone fairly hard in the champion training, but I'm going to push in this champion training, get maybe a few 6 stars in there so I can make some new breaks on the account in some of the limited content areas, as well as get ready to be able to do things like use up Lady Mikage, because I am darn close with her, and prep myself for the next fusion event as well. Now, the next fusion event, likely going to be a fragment fusion event. Those are usually fairly easy. And I thought about it and I said, you know what? Those being fairly easy, I often don't need to do the champion chase on those at all, because either I can skip them and do the full 10 sacreds to 12 sacreds to get myself, the extra fragments from the summon rush, but also I can quite often, use other points to get summon rush stuff as well. So I've got the remnant summons, I've got some fragment summons here, I've almost got a dark Kale. I should have him. Actually, I might miss him once with this rotation, but if I have to pop in for another rotation and grab him, that's fine. Cleopteryx is only a matter of time before I have Cleopteryx as a fragment champion. I've already got one of her, so this is not going to be one for a CVC. This is going to be one for a champ chase. And again, I can actually work on making some of these Mikage things. So here's a legendary right here I can fuse because I have all 4 of the Mikage epics here. Got 2 of the Mikage epics here. You know, if I can get one of these dudes and hold on to him, I've got another epic I can fuse here, and I've got this epic I can fuse here. That's 500, another 250, another 350. That's 1,100 points that I can fuse just in a fusion right here towards getting Mikage. All useful stuff for me to be doing on the account anyway. Plus, again, what, 500 here, plus another 250 here. We're at almost 2,000 points and I haven't pulled a single shard. And that's some of the stuff I have just sitting on the account ready to go. So with that said, we are here with Ancient Shards. We're going to crack open a Pepsi as we do. We're going to pull all 30 of these things, so I've got some food ready to go. Pepsi, not a sponsor, but really, what goes better with food than Pepsi? I'd love to get something exciting, but honestly, I'd still love to get some of the great epics that I'm looking for. If I get a legendary, I might not be able to build them for a little while. I do need to finish building Ezio out with those books before I can build another legendary. It's going to take an amazing game-changing legendary to really interfere with that. And that said, I'm not going to complain if I get one of those. And if I get a bunch of really good epics, I will be happy as well. So let's get some good food. Let's get some good epics. Let's get some fun. Ooh, Siege Hulk is great. Durandil, that can be a +1 Durandil. That's good. Malkeith, I've got a Malkeith already. So Siege Hulk is new. Siege Hulk will be interesting. Certainly going to stash him for a while. Siege Hulk is one of the few... Oh, not Siege Hulk. That's Siege Hulk. That is not who I was thinking of. I was thinking of Skull Crusher, not Siege Hulk. Siege Hulk's good, though. Siege Hulk is a damage-dealing epic, so actually nice to have. I don't know if I have one of him or not, so I definitely will hold on to him. And I might end up building him out because he can hit pretty hard. He's got this decreased defense as well, which can be very nice AoE. Although with Uugos, I don't really need that necessarily. And then he's got a big one-attack enemy right here. Powers himself up and puts decreased speed up there as well. He can do some decent damage. Pretty solid epic. Durandil is a great damage dealer. Malkeith is a decent reviver. Not quite as good as Rector Drath, but still, if you need a reviver and somebody solid to build in the Knights Rev, you could do worse than a Malkeith. So, all right. Well, not too bad to start with. Got 3 epics as well. Gonna like the epic rate at least. Let's get some more. Ooh, no, we're not getting burned, are we? Was I not dancing? I wasn't dancing enough. That's probably the problem. So, all right, we've got one more 10 pull. Let's get something kind of cool. Hey, we got a new champion at least. I'm pretty sure Siege Hulk is due. Dark Elhain, that is a duplicate. Get her for free. She's not horrible, but not what we're looking for. And Masked Fearmonger, unfortunately, probably new. Masked Fearmonger is almost not worth keeping as an epic. He is just so bad. Double hitter here. Each hit decreases the target's turn meter by 5% if they're under fear or true fear. Reduces the cooldown if he kills an enemy of one of his skills. Puts fear on or true fear on somebody if he kills an enemy. Single target doesn't do enough damage. Single target doesn't do a lot of damage. Technically ignores defense if they're under fear or true fear. Just no, he's just not good. Bad stats, bad damage, bad champion, and it is what it is. So, oh well. All right, so we did get up to this legendary book here, and we are close to getting these extra points. I wouldn't have minded these extra points. I don't need them, but I certainly would not hate getting these as well. So we'll certainly see if I get some more ancients as I go through doing daily stuff. We'll, maybe pull some more shards. Who knows? It's kind of the thing you do on counts like this. I certainly would have loved a few more interesting epics, but hey, we got 5 epics in 30 shards, so that's not too horrible overall. It's about average rates. And, hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. Hopefully you enjoyed some of my comments about what I'm going to be doing to kind of maintain the account, because I think it's really, really easy to see these sexy accounts that look at all this cool stuff you've done and not look at all the work behind what you do. So keep on doing that champion training, keep on doing that gear enhancement, keep on selling your gear that's not good, keep on pushing your gear forward, keep on pushing your account forward. And honestly, progress is one of the best ways. And honestly, progress is one of the best ways to make Shadow Legends fun. Raid is a fun game when you're making these little incremental progress things, because it's something little you can celebrate because, hey, look at this, I'm doing this better than I was last time I looked at my account. It's always kind of fun to, shave time off of stuff, to make your damage dealers hit harder, to beat content you are struggling with, and to find new ways to progress in Raid Shadow Legends. Keep these wins going, and, keep those likes going, keep those subscribes going. I really do appreciate it. You guys are one of the best communities in gaming and Raid Shadow Legends as well. I really do appreciate you guys. I appreciate all the support. Checking out that link below as well. If you want to get into the fun, use my link below. It's absolutely amazing, and I really do appreciate all the support. Until the next video, I am Bront, CatHerder.